from the Wilson Area High School Gymnasium in Wilsonboro. RCN Sports presents Colonial League High School basketball action. The Crusaders of Notre Dame with an overall record of 18-3. They are 14-3 in the East Division of the Colonial League, tied for first place with the Wilson Warriors. Their overall record 17-4. They, of course, 14-3 as well in league play. Good evening and welcome, everyone. Chris Michael along with Dennis Lobb. Glad you could join us for Game 2 of tonight's high school basketball doubleheader on RCN Sports. Dennis, it's quite possible that both Notre Dame and Wilson will be squaring off and see each other on Tuesday night in the opening round of the league playoffs. However, still a lot on the line in terms of the league playoffs, the East Division title, and also a lot of local bragging rights for, at the very least, 4 days.
Yeah, no question about it. I don't think anyone told any of the fans here tonight. This place is packed, and they want to see the rivalry that it is. It's Notre Dame, it's Wilson. The only possibility where these teams would not play on Tuesday night would be if Southern Lehigh is upset against Salisbury in this evening's ball game.
In fact, some of the people who have worked here for a good number of years at Wilson have said they have never seen the gym this packed for a basketball game before. Let's take a look at the starting lineup first for the visiting Notre Dame Crusaders. They have been hit by the flu bug, as a lot of teams have been of late. Andrew Mitsock will either not be able to go. If anything, he will see limited playing time, and he will definitely not be in the starting lineup tonight.
Well, that gives another senior by the name of Matt Tannhauser an opportunity to start. He didn't get a chance on senior night, and this is like another senior night for him. But they still have Joe Gianjobi, Max Hughes, and Andrew Kohler in that starting lineup.
And for the Wilson Warriors, their starting lineup, a familiar starting five. Bob Frankenfield has incorporated the same starting five for a couple weeks. They're coming off a 6-point loss to Bangor on Tuesday. And just as important as everything else we mentioned, you get the sense that they like to build some momentum going into the playoffs. Graham Toohey's been playing well. A.J. Davidson has been coming on of late.
But they need that consistent inside presence. The guards have carried them, and they can carry you so far. You do need the momentum. They had a tough loss the other night, and they're looking to build on it. And this crowd can very well give them the energy in tonight's ball game to do it.
Certainly a playoff-type atmosphere here at the Wilson Area High School gym. We'll have all the action of Wilson, Notre Dame, the opening tip straight ahead on RCN Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Burke, and I'm the women's basketball coach at Moravian College. And today our skill set will be defensive on the ball, and we will get right to it. One of the first things you want to do when you're playing the game on defense is see the ball. So it sounds like a basic skill, but so many times we don't see the ball as the game is being played. So Jess and Allie right now are on defense. They're seeing the ball. So as the offensive player moves, they still want to see the ball. They want to keep their eye on their offensive player and the ball. So if the ball is passed, wherever it's thrown, they see the ball and could get on it. The next thing we want to do is make sure you're going to be up the line, on the line. And what that means is wherever the ball is and your offensive player, you want to be in line with the ball and your offensive player. So as your offensive player moves, you want to be in the line of the ball, and you see both Jess and Allie are moving and seeing the ball. And to add on to that, you want to use your outside hand when you're playing defense. So your outside hand in this case is the hand closer to the ball. Right now, both Jess and Allie using their right hand, outside hand. So as the offensive player moves, you're using your outside hand, the ball is passed, we're able to get the steal. So let's combine and see what we did today. You must see the ball. They're in a good defensive position, knees bent, and as the offensive player is moving, they're able to see the ball, line of the ball, and using their outside hand. That's our skill session for today. I'm Mary Beth Burke, Moravian College women's basketball coach.
Since 1937, Walters Pharmacy has been making life easier for you, the name you trust most when you need your prescription filled. That's because getting your prescription right is our #1 priority, and only Walters Pharmacy delivers anywhere in Allentown for free. Our wide selection of health products and mobile equipment, as well as our convenient hours, make Walters Pharmacy the fast and convenient choice.
I went to Walters Pharmacy and they were able to supply all of my child's needed medications.
I call Walters Pharmacy for all my prescriptions and healthcare items and have them delivered to my door.
Walters Pharmacy in Allentown.
Let's go get Yakult. You know it's always been the best. Let's go get Yakult. For quality that beats the rest. They got cheesesteaks, French fries. The famous Yakult hot dog is known worldwide. Let's go get Yakult. The secret sauce is one of a kind.
Yakult's, an Allentown tradition.
Welcome back to the Wilson Area High School Gym. Chris Michael, Dennis Laub with the call of tonight's game featuring the Crusaders and the Warriors. At the beginning of the season, the experts said the East Division would be the most competitive division of the Colonial League this year. And in fact, it's coming down to the last day of the regular season to determine who will win the East Division. Now the starting lineups. First for the visiting Notre Dame Crusaders. The one guard, number 32, Max Hughes, 6'1" senior guard, averaging a team-high 14.5 points a ball game. He'll be joined in the backcourt tonight by number 34, Matt Tannhauser, a 5'11" senior, averaging 1 point a ball game. Up front, number 30 is Andrew Kohler, a 6'5" junior, averaging 9.2 points a ball game. Number 42, Nick Piazza, 6'2" senior forward, averaging 4.2. And the man in the middle, Joseph Giangiobi, 6'3" junior, averaging 13.3 points a ball game. Pat Boyle in his 13th season as the head coach of Notre Dame. His overall record, 248 wins, 106 defeats. And now the starting lineup for the hosting Warriors. At the one guard position, number 12, Connor Kuhara, 5'10" senior, averaging 3.5 a ball game. Next out, number 20, Drew Parr, 5'9" senior guard, averaging 10.6. Also leads the team in three-point shots made with 92. Next out is number 10, Graham Toohey, 6'2" senior forward, leads the team 13.8 points a ball game. Number 33 is Justin Berger, 6'2" junior forward, averaging 3.4 ball game. And Wilson's man in the middle, Anthony Davidson, 6'4" senior, averaging 5.1 a ball game. Bob Frankenfield, his 28th year as the head coach of Wilson, 378 wins, 341 defeats.
Officiating tonight's ball game, on your left, Carl Rensenheimer, and on your right, Bob Bennett.
Notre Dame won both meetings between these two teams. Once it was a league game, once it was a out-of-league game. Wilson hoping the third time is the charm as they finally get the monkey off the back. Notre Dame riding a streak of wins over Wilson. The opening tap is up, and it is won by the Crusaders. Max Hughes with the basketball. Giangiobi out high. Berger picks him up. First jumper, no good. Davidson the rebound. Notre Dame in all missing 4 players out with various illnesses. J.D. Berger slips in and scores a quick deuce for Wilson.
A cheapie on that end. Man-to-man defense being employed by both teams.
Outside three-point shot by Hughes rattles out. Once and done, Berger the rebound. In the first meeting that we saw between these teams, that was at Notre Dame in the league. And Wilson had the early lead. Notre Dame stormed back. Notre Dame did not win a lead by more than 4 points up until the final couple minutes. Ball goes out of bounds. Wilson will have it back. Joe Giangiobi not happy that he was told the ball came off of his possession. Parr with the basketball. Now Kuhart, who leads the team with 108 assists, averaging over 5 a ball game. Ball goes out of bounds. Wilson will get it back.
You get a look at that Notre Dame defense. They really have Wilson's offense so far in the first minute, starting their plays way out behind the three-point line. They're just pushing them towards the baseline and away from the basket.
Baseline jumper rims out by Graham Toohey, who's been hot of late. He scored 43 points in his last 2 ball games and was the Express Times Player of the Week. Ball comes loose. Still loose, and Notre Dame will have it back despite the efforts of Graham Toohey.
Get a look at the steal, and then we have the turnover. You can see it goes off number 10, Graham Toohey's foot.
Max Hughes takes the inbound pass. One of 4 returning seniors to start this year. Up and in by Joe Giangiobi, his first field goal of the night.
Fine pass by Max Hughes inside to his partner on the first team All-Colonial.
Wilson again will have it back. Midcourt sideline right. Toohey to trigger the inbound pass.
That was the second fine defensive play by senior Matt Tannhauser. Guy that doesn't get in that much, and here he comes out and has 2 good deflections.
Toohey inside to Kuhart. Shot was blocked by Piazza. And now Piazza to the floor. Jump ball's called. Possession now favors the home team.
Get a look at the jump ball call, and that tells you right there, folks, how important this game is. You got 2 guys on the floor in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Toohey off the inbound, picked up immediately by Tannhauser. Now Davidson beyond the 3-point arc. Kuhart picks it up, tips in, and drops in the 2.
So Hark's a little bug out there. You have to always constantly watch him, and that time he comes up with the miscue steal off A.J. Davidson's turnover.
Tannhauser pops up, working against Carr. Now off the switch, matchup with Berger. And now Giangiobi beyond the arc. Off a screen, Hughes open for 3. Rebound by Toohey. Wilson with the early 4-2 lead. Notre Dame coming off a 54-45 win over Penn Argyl on Tuesday. We mentioned Wilson lost to Bangor. Tannhauser puts it on the floor. Intercepted pass by Toohey. Kuhart in transition, over to Parr for 3. And Wilson won't get a second look.
Wilson doing a little bit of both things. They're looking to push the ball, and if they don't have it, the half-court set, they're very patient.
Leo Davidson into the ball game to replace his brother. Leo, a 6'5" junior forward, averaging 5.1 a ball game. Layup by Toohey's no good.
But he got a good look at the basket. There was great penetration there. He just didn't finish it.
That was blocked by Berger. Ball picked up by Davidson. Notre Dame 1 of 5 from the floor in the early going. Wilson 2 of 6. Picked off by Giangiobi. Max Hughes picks up the rebound. Tannhauser misses from 16 feet, and Berger another rebound. Kuhart looking inside for Davidson, posting up against Kohler, and a traveling violation called on Leo Davidson. David Salerno off the Notre Dame bench. Junior guard averaging 7.2 a ball game, the leading 3-point shooter on the squad. And Chris Robinson, 6'6", senior guard, checks in for Wilson. Chris averaging 2 points a ball game. Giangiobi again stepping out. Salerno open for three. Davidson the rebound. Ball kicked away by Notre Dame. Wilson will have it back. And Pat Boyle calls a timeout. 3 minutes, 9 seconds left in the opening quarter. Wilson up 4-2.
These days I leave my car at home. I ride the bus, the smart choice.
Atlanta Metro is the comfortable, fast, clean, and low-cost way to make your way around the valley.
Atlanta Metro, the smart choice.
Since the Overhead Door Company makes the original overhead door, the people who install and service them take them pretty seriously. Call or log on for the overhead door dealer nearest you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
Welcome back to Wilson. Notre Dame and the Wilson Warriors squaring off for the third time this year. Quite possibly they could see each other again on Tuesday night in the opening round of the league playoffs. They will not see each other in the district playoffs because Wilson is at the 3A level. Notre Dame has their own battle to contend with at 2A. Inside look, shot was blocked. Shot was taken by Parr. Salerno goes down, and we have a foul called on Wilson. First foul on Connor Kuharek. First foul of the ball game. And checking in for Notre Dame, Blair Rossetto, 5'10 junior, averaging 2.8 a ball game. Along with Jeff Knappenberger, 6'2 senior center, averaging 2. Blair Rossetto missed several games because of an illness, and he was still feeling sick yesterday. But we'll see some time tonight.
In the early part of this game, it doesn't hurt. Both teams are feeling each other out. It's a little sluggish to start, and both coaches go into their bench to see who is going to step up and eventually be the mainstays in this game.
Brendan Monahan, 6'1 junior forward, checks in for Wilson, averaging 1.6 a ball game. And Pat Boyle said always would like to get as many people action as possible in a game like this because it is a playoff-type atmosphere. And if there's an injury in the next couple weeks, you need guys to step up and be familiar with this role. Ball goes out of bounds. Notre Dame will keep the possession.
Notre Dame making an effort, Chris, to get that ball inside. That time they were unsuccessful due to the good guard pressure defensively from Chris Robinson.
Here's a little pump fake move. The follow is up and in by Andrew Kohler. Kohler really has been coming on strong the second half of the year. Scored a combined 29 points in his games against Penn Argyl and Bangor the last 2 nights. Davidson going to put it on the floor. Robinson now through the lane. Shot was blocked, but a foul also was called. Jeff Knappenberger picking up his first.
You see the penetration by Robinson. He gets deep in the hole, beats his man, and Knappenberger has to come over and commit the foul.
Robinson 6 for 10 from the free throw line this year. This is the first of two. A.J. Davidson back into the ball game, replacing Leo. And now Joe Birdie, 6'1" senior guard, averaging 1.2 a ball game, checks in for Notre Dame. Second free throw is good. Robinson makes 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Four players on Notre Dame's roster are feeling under the weather. Larry Rossetto, who makes the steal, one of those players. Fred Ackerman and Andrew Mitzak out with flu-like symptoms. Bart Palumbo out with a back injury. They are hopeful he will be back next week. Notre Dame trailing by 1 with the basketball. Look inside for Kohler, and stripping the ball away is Brendan Monahan. Monahan's used to interceptions. We saw him do a lot of that during the football season.
He was trying to front Kohler. A.J. Davidson comes behind him, so they double-teamed Kohler and stripped him.
Davidson posting up, got the turnaround jump for his first field goal. Davidson coming off a 10-point performance on Tuesday against the Slaters. Kohler matched up with Monahan again. Affenberger beyond three-point range. And the rebound by Toohey. Wilson with a three-point lead and 20 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. And Wilson will have it back with 11 seconds remaining. James Leary, 5'9" senior guard, averaging 1.5 checks in for Notre Dame. Notre Dame has already used 2 players in the opening quarter. Foul on the move inside. Be the second Notre Dame foul.
There look at Carr, once again getting the penetration past his defender, but then he gets fouled by Joe Birdie.
Birdie picks up his first. Forced an inbound. 5 seconds remaining. Far off the screen. Tough shot. Follow is no good. Fairchild doesn't go. A.J. Davidson helping his Wilson Warriors jump out to a 7-4 lead after the opening quarter.
Hey, basketball fans, if you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus for the fabulous GE tip-off sale. Browse our huge selection of GE ranges, GE refrigerators, GE dishwashers, GE washers, and GE dryers. Now at Kleckner's, get great savings plus free delivery, free haul away of old, a full parts department and their own factory-trained techs. Stop in today. See why Kleckner's has been serving the Lehigh Valley since 1945. 2 locations, Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
He doesn't report to a management committee. He doesn't report to a marketing department. He reports to Mary Johnson's arthritis, to Sally Wickstrom's upset stomach, and to Greg Porter's poison oak. He's your family prescription center pharmacist. He lives and works right here in town, so that means he reports to you. Call Family Prescription Center today at 866-0709.
Taking the time to care, Family Prescription Center.
Mark Mulchaney and Power Realty's sole mission is unprecedented real estate service. With an undying commitment to quality, Mark Mulchaney provides you professionalism, outstanding service, wealth of knowledge, experience, and reliability. Mark Mulchaney and Power Realty, the power to move you. 610-433-6600 or on the web at powerrealtyhomes.com.
Welcome back to the Wilson Area High School Gym. Chris Michael and Dennis Lobb, glad you could join us. We built this game as a playoff-type atmosphere event. So far, neither team really playing like they are a playoff-caliber team. Wilson shooting 3 of 10 from the floor. Notre Dame 2 of 8 from the floor, and also a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah, both teams have 4 turnovers in the first 8 minutes, Chris, and I'm sure both of these coaches are hoping that this is just sort of like a dress rehearsal.
And hopefully they're not dressing like that guy we just saw on the screen.
Well, there's a couple of questionable students here, the way they dressed. I don't know.
Start of the second quarter, Notre Dame with the basketball trailing by 3. Giangiovi back on for the Crusaders. Pat Boyle employed 10 different players in that opening quarter. Bob Frankenfield used 8 different players. Jump shot by Birdie's no good. A rebound by Kuhara. Of course, you have to wonder in the back of your mind how these coaches are approaching this ball game and what adjustments they would make when and if they see each other next week.
Well, both of them are playing man-to-man, Chris, and that's primarily what they play. The only other change you could possibly make would come, you know, in your defense if you want to take an individual out. But both teams have a couple of different weapons. So who would you put a special defense on, or, you know, even playing a zone? They both have decent perimeter shooting.
Max Hughes checks in for Notre Dame. He's triggering the inbound pass, finding Joe Birdie. The one tidbit that Pat Boyle gave us last night on the RCN Sports Talk show was that he said in terms of preparing for this ball game, there's some things they want to work on. Next week, should they see Wilson or any other team, there's going to be specific things they're going to look to attack from their opponents, using more scouting reports in preparation for next week's game. Max Hughes at the line to shoot 2. First one misses off the back of the rim. Hughes a 65% free throw shooter. And Drew Parr back into the ball game for the Warriors, replacing Chris Robinson.
I do agree, Chris, that a lot of coaching goes into it, but it's still the 10 players out there on the floor at that particular time. And, you know, you as a coach really have to get your players sold on what they're doing. And, you know, both of these teams are what they are. And they are both man-to-man defensive teams, and they both have their own offensive style. So the change, I really don't see a lot of change.
Traveling violation by Leo Davidson as he was looking to post up. And another Wilson turnover.
Both times Leo turned the ball over. He got the ball in a good position, but it just took him too long to decide what move he was going to use, and then he shuffled his feet both times.
Wilson right now with both Davidsons on the floor. 3-point shot by Birdie off the mark. The rebound pulled down by Tui. Leo Davidson inside. Off the glass, up and in for his first field goal.
That easy 2 came off not only Kuharik's penetration, but a nice pass from his brother.
And a foul away from the basketball. After the foul was called, Leo dropped a bit of a shoulder on Giangiovi, and Joe was looking around for an official. The official who saw the initial foul had left to record the foul with the scorer's table.
Here you can see that right arm, that right elbow comes in there, Chris, and he clears him out, and there's no reason because the ball isn't going to Giangiovi, and now it earns him a seat on the bench.
His second personal foul. Wilson, Southern Lehigh, and Notre Dame came in with the top records in the Colonial League this year at 14-3. This will talk it over and say Wilson was last to touch. Max Hughes to trigger the inbound for Notre Dame.
I like to see 2 officials communicating with each other. That time Bob Bennett on the baseline wasn't sure he got the right call.
Salerno got upended. He's a little shaken up, but he's also called for a traveling violation. And Pat Boyle wants a little of an explanation. He says, well, there was contact there.
Well, there certainly was some contact there, and you know that's one of those rules, Chris, where you know if you fall, it's automatically a walk. Well, I don't think he would have fell without the contact, and that's what Pat is, you know, trying to sell.
And now Giangiobi's going over and saying, hey, I've taken a couple shots here. The one the officials picked up right away.
Oh, but I'm sure he's going to give all those shots back. If not tonight, on Tuesday.
Steal by Notre Dame. Hughes on the fast break. Tough shot in traffic. And a good job by Davidson inside. Didn't get the block, but his long arm changed the trajectory of that shot. Layup at the other end, no good, by Brian Cooper. And the baseline jumper by Cooper, also no good. Wilson has now gone 9 deep on their roster. And with a foul on Notre Dame in the backcourt, their third. Joe Giangiobi calls for the personal. And a timeout on the floor. 5 minutes, 11 seconds left. Wilson still leads 9-5.
Good timeout called by Bob Franken to him. The veteran coach saw that, you know, I think he called it not only for his team, but for the other team also. Things are just getting a little bit out of control there. I mean, people are just on top of this court here, and it's a good time to just settle his team down. And, you know, it is their possession. I'm sure he said, let's just get a good shot here, guys, and, you know, keep playing hard.
It'll be interesting to watch how this game progresses, too, because both teams over the course of this year have shown the ability to have success in a half-court game and also when they look to push the tempo.
Both teams also like to go on runs, especially Notre Dame. They'll go on that 7-point run, but Wilson's capable, too.
Connor Hughes, a freshman point guard who played in the JV game, now checks into the ball game. Now, Pat Boyle told us with 4 people injured, they might be hurt in terms of their depth. Well, they've now played 11 players tonight, less than 12 minutes into the ball game.
I seriously think he called Jim Hutnick last night for some advice, because this is Jim Hutnick written all over Pat Boyle's coaching performance.
Backdoor play looking for Giangiobi, loses the handle, kicks it to Piazza. And now Giangiobi gets it back in the corner. One more for Hughes. And the rebound goes out of bounds. Notre Dame will have it back again.
This poor shooting from the field continues in this ball game. I can hardly wait till both teams snap out of it.
In the JV game, it was 19-18 after the first quarter.
You got it.
And a foul after the shot beyond three-point range. And, nope, his foot was across the line.
But A.J. Davidson definitely fouls him. Why he's fouling him that deep, Chris, I don't know. Although Kohler is, you know, a good shooter from that range.
A.J. Davidson picking up his second personal foul. And he will now take a seat on the bench and be replaced by Brendan Monahan. J.D. Berger also into the ball game for Wilson. Juan Scott not available tonight. Coach's decision. Kohler ready for his second free throw. And it's a 2-point ball game. Wilson jumped out to a 4-2 lead early. They have not trailed since that point. Backdoor play, Connor to Hollerick, and then Berger misses from short range. Those are two pretty steady players who don't miss those shots very often.
Usually not. It was an excellent backdoor by Koharic. Berger follows it. Just can't get it today.
Hughes is 0 for 4, but all 4 of his shots have been tough. With a hand in his face. Bodies again on the floor. Jump ball is a call. And Wilson will have it back on the possession arrow.
One of those nights, Chris, it's like that band Drowning Pool. Let the bodies hit the floor. That's what we got going on here tonight.
On the floor and in the stands. 3.5 left to play before halftime. Wilson now on the floor with Berger and Monahan up front. 3-point shot by Parr is no good. Suharik and Tui. The other 5 on the floor for Wilson. Hughes with the basketball. That was Connor Hughes to Max Hughes. Max Hughes with the shot and draws the contact and will go to the line.
That time, I don't believe that was a play. I just think that was the all-league performer Hughes making his own play. It's very obvious by the number of turnovers here when they're both playing man-to-man that they know each other inside and out. They know each other's plays, and I feel that's why none of the offense is really smooth in tonight's ball game.
Zetto comes back on, replacing Nick Piazza. Hughes makes 2 of 2 at the free throw line. 3 points overall for Max tonight. Next week they will announce the league MVP. Hughes may not win the award, but I certainly think he deserves some consideration. Graham Tui dropping one in from the baseline.
Well, we talked about that, Chris, on the way back from Bangor. You know, you asked me who the MVP is in the league, and I really don't. There's a lot of good players, and I just don't see that one that really stands out to me.
Hughes misses a little floating jump shot. Back down the other way. Quick fast break converted by Graham Tui. His second field goal of the night. Wilson ties its largest lead of the evening with a 13-9 advantage. The thing I like about Hughes is that he can step up and be the main scorer on a given night, and if someone else is hot, he has no problem feeding that guy or working on defense and getting rebounds. And I can see that on a consistent performance. They may not have the consistent 20-point performance a ball game, but I see him contributing at different aspects on a consistent basis, and we had the opportunity to see Notre Dame, I think, 5 times this year.
Yes, we have seen him a bunch of times. I'm sure Pat Boyle's a little tired of talking to his pregame, but you know, you're right about Hughes. Just a fine player.
Giangiobi got tied up inside. Monahan and Suharik were both there. Monahan with the reach-in.
Once again, you got Kohler, arguably the best passer on the team, trying to find Giangiobi, but what's going on is every time Giangiobi or Kohler is posted up on that block, there's a double team from Wilson coming. There's a man around front and somebody coming from behind to double it.
And now Monahan picks up his second foul, so all of their big men, Monahan, Davidson, and Davidson have 2 fouls. And Bob Frankenfield puts in Brian Cooper, who has played in 14 ball games this year, averaging 1.3 a ball game. Another tough shot by Tui, draws the contact, and will go to the line for 2.
Tui beat his man in the perimeter, making something happen. And what he did smart, Chris, was he pulled straight up and got the shot. He didn't try to force it and get caught in the offensive foul. He did a fine pull-up jumper and got fouled.
Tui, a 65% free throw shooter, makes the first of 2. Wilson has a team shooting 63% from the free throw line. And Wilson now up by 6. Student section increasing the volume a bit with a minute and change left in the first half. Salerno on for Notre Dame. Chris Robinson checks in for Wilson. Kohler looking backdoor for Giangiobi. Back to Salerno for 3. Inside look was blocked by Berger and picked up by Brian Cooper.
Credit J.D. Berger, though. In addition to his 5 rebounds, he comes over and makes a big block on that shot.
Final 30 seconds. Wilson looking to protect a 6-point lead. They turn it over. And now Notre Dame could get the final look. And Pat Boyle will talk about that final look. 20 seconds left in the second quarter. Notre Dame calls a timeout. Wilson leading 15-9.
I believe Notre Dame is going to look inside. They've been looking inside all night, and, you know, why not go to it one more time? They obviously have Wilson in the position, Chris, because all their big men are in foul trouble, and not having Kwan Scott to give some inside depth is hurting them here tonight. And they do have a size advantage with Kohler and Gianjobi.
A little ironic that we're talking about arguably the 2 best teams in the Colonial League this year. And neither team, according to the morning call, has a score in the top 25 in the area in scoring. And only Max Hughes is 25th in the Express Times area, which spills over into the New Jersey area. Kind of goes back to that thought that we mentioned earlier, that a lot of well-rounded individuals, but not that one premier player on either ball club. 5 seconds left. Kohler inside, lays it up and in. He becomes the game's top scorer as he has 6. Graham Toohey with 6, and Notre Dame will go into the halftime locker room trailing by 4. J.D. Berger working inside on the block, helping to keep Wilson in front, 15-11. First half numbers and highlights straight ahead.
The Lehigh Valley loves Mezzaluna Sports Bar and Grill, with sports for fans of all shapes and sizes. Plus a huge selection of ice-cold beverages, and of course Mezzaluna's menu of great food. And with Mezzaluna's state-of-the-art sound and light system, you can catch the Valley's hottest bands and DJs, never pay a cover, and dance the night away. For great food and drink, all the sports action and the best live entertainment and never a cover, Mezzaluna Sports Bar and Grill, Airport Road, Allentown.
Your under-insulated home can cost you hundreds. Now is the time to re-insulate with Lehigh Valley Insulation. In less than a day, our experienced crew of installers will thoroughly re-insulate your home. Our new insulation is cleaner and more energy efficient than ever. Plus, it's very affordable. Enjoy seasonable comfort under a blanket of premium insulation and cut your heating and cooling costs. Make sure your home measures up. Call Lehigh Valley Insulation for a free consultation.
It's comfort that pays.
As a woman, the health issues you face will change over a lifetime. Whether you're an expectant mother, caring for a family member, or battling osteoporosis, fast, accurate information is vital in making the best decision. RMRI of Bethlehem is a recognized leader in imaging with radiologists and technologists that make you feel confident, knowing privacy is guaranteed and results will be to your doctor right away. Radiology and MRI of Bethlehem.
You're connected to something more.
Hi, I'm Chris Michael, and I'm connecting you to more local people, places, and events. Wednesday evenings at 7:30 and Sunday afternoons at 5:30 on Connections.
Hello, I'm Peter Aquino, CEO and President of RCN. I want to thank you for choosing RCN as your provider for cable, phone, and internet service.
This is RCN TV, serving the greater Lehigh Valley and Delaware Valley areas.
Welcome back to the Wilson Area High School Gym in Wilsonboro. Chris Michael along with Dennis Lobb. Glad you could join us for Game 2 of tonight's high school basketball doubleheader on RCN, and also hope you enjoy the special ceremony honoring Dick Schmidt after them naming the Eastside Gym in his honor tonight. Obviously, we wish to welcome that award, and we're going to be talking about that next Thursday on the Sports Show with Tom Stout. But tonight's ball game, 2 premier teams in the Colonial League. Shooting-wise, not the best night for either team.
No, that's for sure. It's been an off night, but we're going to have a better second half, last 16 minutes.
We'll take a look at the team numbers. First off, the shooting. Wilson, not terrible at 40%. Notre Dame at 20%, far below their average. And also a little bit of a surprise, especially for Notre Dame, they have not converted a three-pointer so far.
No three-pointers, and they're being out-rebounded when they have the size and when they have Wilson's size sitting on the bench. Turnovers are a moot point. So it's basically an even game.
Now we'll take a look at the individual numbers for Notre Dame. They're led by Andrew Kohler, got that layup right at the end of the first half to lead the Crusaders with 6 points, and Wilson led, as they have been most of the season, by Graham Toohey with 6.
A good majority helping out at the depth of Wilson. The big three, though, over on the Notre Dame side are the only guys that scored. Normally, you have a little bit more when you play that many players, but it is what it is tonight.
And now we'll take a look at the first half highlights. Mr. Lobb will take you through them.
Starting out with Notre Dame. The concentration the first half was for Notre Dame. Let's get it inside. That time you see Joe Giangiobi. Here, Andrew Kohler off the rebound with a putback. That was the last play of the first half. A beautiful Giangiobi to Kohler. We missed a Nick Piazza block. Here we got some transition basketball. G.E.D. Berger and Connor Koharek. Beautiful post-up move by A.J. Davidson. Here he feeds his brother Leo. The up and under for 2. And here's the senior on senior night. Number 10, Graham Toohey with a couple of baskets. And we got a beautiful block. J.D. Berger, in addition to his 5 rebounds, gets a key block on defense.
And notice, Dennis, I did not introduce you as Mr. Knappenberger. After Jeff pulled off a pretty good impersonation last night, although I've heard better. He did it for me a couple weeks ago, and he was right on. When you're on TV and it's live, your voice tends to go up a register or two. But he had it dead on the other night, and he was pretty close the other night. And if you want to hear Jeff's contribution, you can log on to Video On Demand and watch last night's RCN Sports Talk show, as Jeff's dad did. He came over and told us he was watching RCN Sports Talk this afternoon on VOD, so check it out for yourself. Last night's RCN Sports Talk show, featuring Dennis from Whitehall.
Dennis from Whitehall, and he duped 2 professionals.
Well,
you and Mr. Craig.
No, well,
it was totally duped. I looked at Pat Boyle, and I knew that he knew that it was Jeff. And I knew as soon as I heard Dennis from Whitehall, this is, there's not many Dennises from Whitehall, Chris.
Ready to start the second half. Wilson with a 4-point lead. Notre Dame with the basketball. Max Hughes running the offense. Picked up by Connor Koharek. Kohler steps out, looks from 3. Koharek the rebound.
Good look there that time from Kohler, coming off the double screen from down below.
Toohey with the basketball, fakes the 3. Now dumps it off for Koharek. Passes to Davidson, who draws the foul. Kohler will pick up his first personal. Team's first of the half.
Once again, though, Connor Koharek gets the penetration, draws AJ's defender over, and then slips it to him, and then he got fouled.
A.J. Davidson, a 55% free throw shooter, misses the first of 2. And they have changed the call, both over the PA and on the scoreboard. Matt Townhauser picking up that last foul, his first. Davidson 0 for 2 at the line. Kohler matched up with Davidson. 5-second count, and Notre Dame turns it over. Their 8th turnover of the night.
It was a good call. There's no question. 5-second call. I'm anxious to see what kind of offensive adjustments were made and what kind of plays they're going to go to. Because in the first half, the plays, Chris, quite frankly, didn't work either way.
Davidson's pass to Toomey is knocked away and comes over our direction. He shows good hands for a center.
I'm a former tight end, and so I do have good hands.
And I do know you led the team in receiving yards back in 1984.
I didn't bring a horn out and toot it, did I?
Well, you used that 6 times as a trivia question during our football broadcast. Another Notre Dame turnover. Parr with a basketball. Parr ran into a wall as both Toller and Hughes were there defensively. Dewey now with the basketball. A tough shot over Tannhauser. Shot's no good. Ball is chased down by Hughes. And Notre Dame will have it back.
That's a shot from Tui. And here we'll get a look and see who it's out on. And
ooh, good call.
He was on the line. He was out.
Crossing the 6-minute mark. Backdoor play for Parr. And Giangiobi comes away with the basketball. Five seniors honored before the game for Wilson. One of the seniors for Notre Dame also honored. It was Nick Piazza, and he hits the first triple of the ball game. And it's back to a 1-point game. This is the closest Notre Dame has gotten since Wilson took a 4-2 lead in the opening minute of the ball game. Davidson. Parr on the baseline. Hit by Davidson. Davidson got stripped of the basketball. Parr with a shot, and it goes in. Drew Parr's first field goal of the night.
I don't know how he got that shot off, but he did. You get a look at the play before and watch the shot. That's something you do in the backyard when you're playing one-on-one. That's just a throw. But his dad, Dana, the JV coach at Wilson, probably taught him that one.
Leo Davidson checks in for Wilson, replacing his brother A.J. Notre Dame with the ball trailing by 3. Salerno into the ball game. Piazza the offensive rebound. Max Hughes hitting the second three-pointer for the Crusaders, and we are knotted at 17 apiece. Piazza the rebound. Wilson looking to take the lead. Excuse me, Notre Dame takes the lead, and now it's Wilson with the basketball right back. And another turnover. Another turnover. And Bob Frankenfield, I think another one of those timeouts just to calm everything down.
Smart timeout.
Time for the RJ Carpet trivia question. Former Lafayette girls basketball coach Pat Fisher is related to one of the players playing in tonight's game. Name that player. We've seen Pat Fisher at several games throughout this past regular season.
Has to be somebody from Notre Dame because you commented on it the other. Oh, I bet you I know. I got my guess.
It would be more interesting to see if she's here tonight. And if we could find her.
Oh.
By the way.
I can't find anybody. I don't know anybody in the stands, to be honest with you. I'm sure you do because you know somebody everywhere we go. But
Sal Panto is here, the mayor of Easton.
Yes, he is.
And by the way, a happy 3rd birthday to Madison, who is Bob Frankenfield's granddaughter. Bob would like to give his granddaughter a victory as a birthday present. So happy birthday to Madison, celebrating her 3rd birthday tonight. Berger kicks it back to Hart. Now Davidson trying to post up. On the wing to Monahan. Ball comes loose. Davidson dropped the ball on the baseline.
For Wilson, what has worked for them is the following. Either a penetration in a dish or anything backdoor. That's about it. Any of their screen plays haven't been successful, but you know, when they get penetration, it just seems like they can get open people. Notre Dame, though, is starting to get some guys open from the perimeter, and that could spell trouble for Wilson.
Notre Dame with 8 seniors on this year's team. Hughes looking inside, back to Salerno for 3. And he is 0 for 3 from beyond the arc tonight.
But it hasn't stopped his aggressiveness.
Brendan Monahan strong to the hoop for his first field goal.
Credit Leo Davidson for not forcing anything. He had a couple guys on and he found the open Monahan. He finished.
Salerno is a credible three-point shooter, and a lot of coaches will say you just have to ride the wave because a shooter that you know can hit those type of shots, you just got to ride the wave and hope that they find a groove. Hughes on the steal. Berger got back in transition. Do not count the basket. And Berger will pick up his first foul.
Get a look at Berger here. He sort of slows down, Chris. I felt if he would have took the angle and tried to take that charge, he went for the block. And it didn't work out. They called him for the foul.
He was 3 of 4 at the free throw line tonight. Makes the first of 2. Blair Rossetto in for Notre Dame. Chris Robinson in for the Warriors. Rossetto coming off a sinus infection that kept him out of a couple ball games. Joe Birdie checks in for Notre Dame. Wilson to Notre Dame, Caddy and Southern Lehigh. We'll see them all next week, Tuesday night. Live coverage of the semis on RCN, and Chris Robinson providing some instant offense, his first field goal. Warriors looking to make it a 2-possession game as we approach the final minute here in quarter number 3. Davidson in traffic. Got tied up with Giangiobi. Wilson will have it back on the arrow.
They made an effort to get Leo Davidson the ball that time, and I'll tell you, this time he didn't back away. He went right at both of those guys, missed, but got his foul and got tied up for the jump.
Max Hughes didn't spend a long time on the bench, checks right back into the ball game. Under a minute left in quarter number 3. Paul with a layup. A rebound by Birdie.
Wilson really is small on that end. I want to see if Notre Dame goes to some post-up inside.
Kohler down the lane. Back to Giangiobi, who's driving. Back to Kohler. Shot was blocked from behind by Monahan. Monahan on the floor. And timeout was called by Monahan. 25 seconds.
Get a look at this play. Fine move by Giangiobi. Makes a nice pass over to Kohler. Graham Toohey comes from behind and blocks it. Then the ball is loose. Notre Dame has possession, and they give him the timeout.
That was interesting because it looked from here that Monahan had his hand on the basketball. But Notre Dame calls a timeout, and they will have the basketball back.
I think Monahan came in there with that football mentality, and he came on there and jumped on it and got before a tie-up. That's what they called.
Well, answer the R&J Carpet trivia question. Former Lafayette girls basketball player Pat Fisher is related to one of the players playing in tonight's game. Name that player. It is from Notre Dame, and the player is Anthony Kohler. Andrew Kohler, Andrew Kohler, the junior forward, is Pat Fisher's great-nephew and son of her nephew, Bud Kohler, who also coached at Peaburg and played at Notre Dame in the late 1970s. And Tom Fisher is not only Andrew's great-uncle, but also his godfather. So a little bit of the family background for Andrew Kohler.
That really puts things together because I saw that Kohler's father, and I didn't know what his name was, but I knew he was involved with Peaburg years ago. I'm surprised that he didn't send his son to Phillipsburg, but now I put the whole picture together, Mr. Michael.
What I'm here for, when possible. 5 seconds left. Notre Dame down the shoot. It's Rossetto. Shot's no good. Trying to beat the clock is Toomey. Shot is wide. And Notre Dame trying to keep it close. Pair of threes by Piazza and Hughes in the quarter, but Wilson still leads by 2 as we head to the final 8 minutes.
Put some color in your world with a new floor from Mohawk Color Center. We've earned our name by bringing style and beauty to some of the finest homes in the world, something Mohawk has been doing for over a century. For the greatest selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and even ceramic tile, from a name you can trust, Mohawk Color Center. Flooring made simple.
Visit R&J Carpet Connection, 922 North 3rd Street in Whitehall.
Hey, basketball fans, if you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus for the fabulous GE tip-off sale. Browse our huge selection of GE ranges, GE refrigerators, GE dishwashers, GE washers, and GE dryers. Now at Kleckner's, get great savings plus free delivery, free haul away of old, a full parts department and their own factory-trained techs. Stop in today. See why Kleckner's has been serving the Lehigh Valley since 1945. 2 locations, Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
He doesn't report to a management committee. He doesn't report to a marketing department. He reports to Mary Johnson's arthritis, to Sally Wickstrom's upset stomach, and to Greg Porter's poison oak. He's your family prescription center pharmacist. He lives and works right here in town, so that means he reports to you. Call Family Prescription Center today at 866-0709.
Taking the time to care, Family Prescription Center.
Morning, Dad.
Since the Overhead Door Company makes the original overhead door, the people who install and service them take them pretty seriously. Call or log on for the overhead door dealer nearest you.
Thanks to RCN, you're connected to all these great Celtic Culture Alliance events like the Celtic Classic and the Winter Classic.
This is RCN TV, serving the greater Lehigh Valley and Delaware Valley areas.
Along with Dennis Lobb, Chris Michael here at the Wilson Area High School gym. Start of the fourth quarter. In the JV game, it was 19-18 after one quarter. Right here we start the fourth. Wilson leading by 2. It has not been the best played ball game by either squad tonight, but the winner will be the East Division champion in the Colonial League. Unless Southern Lehigh loses tonight, Wilson and Notre Dame will see each other again on Tuesday night in the opening round of the league playoffs. That game, all the games for the semifinal game on Tuesday night will be live on RCN. 6 and 7:30 the call. Lehigh Valley Conference action coming your way live on RCN at 6 and 7:30, followed by Lafayette basketball. Kohler's jump shot no good. Fight for the rebound. And Wilson will have it back. Last touch by Rossetto.
Get a look at this out-of-bounds play, and yeah, there was a little push. No harm, no foul. This game, 21-19. It is fitting that we have this game on RCN following the dedication of Dick Schmidt Gym, called by Dick Tracy. Both of those guys were always said that they like to sit on the ball.
Davidson not sitting on the ball. A driving layup by A.J. Davidson, his second field goal of the night. Kohler from the baseline. Robinson the rebound. And a player is down for Notre Dame. Official timeout called. And Andrew Kohler is a player who's shaken up. They are looking at his ankle.
Oh, that is not what you want to see. Let's get a look here at Kohler. And it just goes out when he comes down. Maybe he fell on Brendan Monahan's foot, and that caused the ankle to roll, but he's grabbing that ankle right away.
And he has become a very important part of this offense. We talked about last night on the sports show and again earlier in this broadcast that he's a guy that can open up a lot of doors from you with his height, his shooting ability, his passing ability, and his defense.
He's another one like Max Hughes. You were talking about the consistent factor. That's what you get out of him. You're going to get double-figure points on most nights. And if you don't get double-figure points, you're going to get close to double-figure rebounds or maybe 5 or 6 assists.
Tui's jump shot no good. Monahan the rebound. And a steal. Max Hughes leading the jailbreak. It's a 2-point game again. Wilson on the floor with Robinson, Kuharic, Monahan, Davidson, and Tui. Kuharic, Tui, the jump shot, around and in. His first field goal of the second half. Piazza for 3. Rebound by Robinson. Piazza, Giangiobi, Rossetto, Hughes, and Salerno on the floor for the Crusaders. Davidson. Rebound by Piazza.
Piazza really giving Pat Boyle big second half minutes. 5 rebounds, and he hit that first 3 for Notre Dame to get them going.
Wilson had an early 4-2 lead. Notre Dame came back to tie the score for the first time since that point at 17 in the third quarter. Wilson's biggest lead of the night, 6 points. You had to mention Dick Schmidt and Dick Tracy. Things are slowing down.
Well, hey, I just wanted to, people that see the score, they will just tell people that Dick Schmidt coached against Dick Tracy in that game.
Giambi misses from the elbow. Davidson the rebound. Giambi, excuse me.
You're thinking about the Yankees, Chris. I love it. Former Yankee.
8 days away from spring training starting. Wilson with the lead. Tui. This is the jump shot. Davidson pulled down the rebound. Now it's loose. Jump ball is the call. And the possession arrow favors Wilson. Leo Davidson and Drew Parr back on for the Warriors. Kuharek and A.J. Davidson to the bench.
Credit the since departed A.J. Davidson for keeping that possession. He really made a big effort and got to the offensive boards in that last possession.
Parr, nice job with a tough pass, came down around his ankle. Tui from the right elbow. And Piazza the rebound. Notre Dame can tie with a deuce. They take the lead with a 3. Actually, excuse me, we have a scoreboard block here. Still a 4-point game. Robinson the rebound off the Giambi miss.
Robinson playing a big role here tonight in this ball game, Chris. The other night, he barely saw the floor. Here he's playing some big minutes and doing some good things. Has 4 rebounds.
Parr blocked by Giambi. Tui got tied up, and now Notre Dame will have it back on the arrow. And a timeout called. 2 minutes, 28 seconds left in the ball game. Wilson 28, Notre Dame 21. We invite you to tune in to RCN Sports Talk Thursdays at 6 p.m. live. We're looking forward to hearing your sports opinions and questions when you call in. And now you can send us an email. Coming up on our next show, we'll break down the Lehigh Valley Conference playoffs with head coaches Joe Stellato from Freedom and Tom Stout from Zero, who will also share his thoughts on the historic night at the Eastside Gym, now the Dick Schmidt Gym at Durham High School. You can send us your opinions and questions at any time by emailing us at rcnsportstalk@rcn.com, and our panel will respond to your comments live on the air. The address again, rcnsportstalk@rcn.com, and tune in for RCN Sports Talk Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. live on RCN4. Those look like the RCN groupies hanging out there.
Well, they're across from us. We did have quite an exhibition put on by the athletic director, Mr. Tony Corey. He was reorganizing the student stands behind us here. I guess he felt they were a little too close to us, and he made almost all the students come down on the floor.
It was like repacking the car. When you pack the luggage and you still got 5 things left over, there was about 30 people here on the bench. He moved everyone around, and sure enough, there were seats for everyone.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 18 seconds left. Notre Dame trailing by 4. Hughes, backdoor cut to Giambi. Shot was blocked by Davidson, and Wilson comes away with the basketball.
There's one consistent theme in this game. Both teams playing tight man-to-man defense And both opposing teams' offenses have to use the back door as their primary offensive weapon here tonight, and the dribble penetration. Both of these teams know each other. It's an injustice that they're going to probably have to play each other again right away on Tuesday.
Wilson calls another timeout, leading by 4. One thing I think Wilson has done, although at this point leading by 4, this would certainly be a heartbreaking defeat to lose again. But they certainly have played better than they did on Tuesday night. And if you're a Wilson fan, you want to see that return to form heading into the playoffs. Whistle and a traveling violation on Parr. And that's not what you want to see off a timeout.
A perfectly drawn-up play, but the execution, Drew just, his mind got ahead of his feet. If he would have just caught it and put it on the floor, he would have had the easy 2. It was a great play.
Rossetto with the basketball working against Robinson. And Hughes ended up with a basketball. It looked at first that pass was intended for Piazza. And then Hughes stepped in front as we get another look at it.
Nice flash by Max Hughes, and a good job by Hughes raising his arms up, and they get Parr on the arm, and they give him the 2 foul shots.
Just the second foul called on Notre Dame. There's also been 2 called on Wilson. Hughes makes both. He now has 9. He is the team's top scorer tonight. And they foul with a 1:07 left. Connor Kuharek, a 49% free throw shooter, but we still have a long way to go before we get into the bonus situation.
Yeah, no question about that. Notre Dame still has 3 fouls to give, and if Wilson decides that they want to hold the ball for a while, they've got to commit them quick.
Reach around foul on Max Hughes. Last foul was on Piazza, his second. This one is Hughes' first foul, and the 14th. Tannhauser now picks up his second foul. And how many times over the next several weeks will we say the game will come down to free throw shooting?
And it's a shame for this game in particular, because we didn't have the great offenses going after each other. And for this game to be decided on the foul line, it is sort of an injustice in my mind.
Now Notre Dame commits the foul. Hughes committing his second, team 6th. Wilson will inbound one more time.
Wilson doing the smart thing, Chris, and keeping the ball in the hands of their guards. And they're probably the better foul shooters on the ball.
Wilson's top free throw shooter on the floor right now is Drew Parr at 83%. Robinson is just under 65%. Kuharek picking up his 3rd foul. And Graham Toohey, a 65% free throw shooter, will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. A.J. Davidson checks in for his rebounding ability. replacing Robinson. To make it a 3-point game. One more to come for Graham Toohey. This will make it a 2-possession game. Graham Toohey now in double figures. Wilson up by 4.
Now Wilson has 4 fouls to give, and they can turn up the defensive pressure a little bit if they want to.
Piazza inside. The rebound by Kuharek, hard to the floor, and he draws the foul. Connor Kuharek, the steady point guard for the Warriors, striding to the line. His team up by 4 points. We might get to 30 points yet tonight. Rebound by Davidson. And a reach-in foul called on Notre Dame.
Huge offensive rebound by Leo Davidson. That's why they had the Davidson brothers in there. And Leo comes down, doesn't foul, even though if he would have fouled Chris, it wouldn't have hurt him because that would have only been the 13th foul.
3 fouls now on Max Hughes. Leo hits the first of 2. He's a 65% free throw shooter. Pat Boyle, a guest on our show last night. Right now his team is trailing by 6. 31.3 seconds remain. Could the monkey finally be lifted off the Wilson Warriors' backs? As Pat talked about last night when he was in the studio, things kind of go in cycles. Wilson a few years ago owned Notre Dame in terms of consecutive wins. Of late, it has been Notre Dame having success against Wilson, especially out at Crepon High School, where some miraculous come-from-behind victories have been pulled off by the Crusaders over the years. But right now, they're trailing by 6 with just over 31 seconds remaining here in Wilson.
Yeah, there's no doubt what he said was true. I mean, high school sports definitely do run in cycles. It just so happens, Chris, that both of these teams, their cycles are right now, and they both have, you know, 2 fine teams, and, you know, maybe it is some justice if Wilson does win this game, and then they have to play each other, you know, on Tuesday and make it mean something, although both cases could be made that maybe it should be the Colonial League final.
Using the front court, Notre Dame needs a quick score. And here we have a foul before the shot. Just the 3rd on Wilson. Sahara picking up his 2nd foul.
I would continue to foul Chris. Take time off and make them inbounds the best.
Ball comes loose. They won't have to foul. Notre Dame commits the foul. Their 10th. And we will walk to the other end of the court for 2 free throws. Hughes picking up his 4th. Graham Toohey, the game's top scorer, striding to the line. At 18 points on Tuesday up at Bangor. Makes the first of 2. Now an 8-point ball game, Wilson's largest lead. Davidson, another big rebound, and that should wrap things up. Final 8 seconds. Notre Dame will foul again. As they rise here at the Wilson Area Gym. First free throw misses. The team's manager just checked into the ball game. And he's got the loudest round of applause of anyone tonight.
No doubt about that. I mean, this is a moment he won't forget. That's for sure.
Oh, he should have missed that. Gave him a putback, a little Rudy moment there.
Not go that far.
Notre Dame will get a shot off. The heave by Hughes off the mark. And Wilson wins the East Division. Final score, Wilson 32, Notre Dame 23. With any game, there are things you can look to improve upon, and I think both teams will be busy over the weekend.
Yes, there's going to be some practicing going on both ends. And if things go to suit the way we think they're going to, as Southern Lehigh takes care of Salisbury, these two teams are going to be facing off at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, followed by Caddy Southern Lehigh.
That game will be live on RCN Tuesday night, as well as the Lehigh Valley Conference semifinals on Wednesday night for the boys. Time for our Yakos player of the game, Graham Toohey. 12 points overall tonight. He was our Lehigh Valley Insulation leading scorer as well, and he hit some clutch free throws down the stretch.
I've been saying this all year, and we've had our fair share of Wilson. Graham Toohey is the most improved player on their basketball team. I mean, he's really stepped his game up in a big way. He does it within the offense. He is the leading scorer on the team, no doubt about it, but he doesn't force the offense. He lets it come to him, and he just plays within Bob Frankenfield's system and does a great job here on senior night. He deserves it.
I'd like to thank Power Really for sponsoring our second half action. Graham Toohey paced the second half with 6 points. And, you know, we mentioned that a couple times, needing players to step up. It's nice to say that at the beginning of the season, say, okay, X, Y, and Z need to do this. But when a guy like Graham Toohey steps up, delivers, especially during crunch time the last couple of weeks, it really is saying something about his performance as a senior.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And it's not only him, Chris Robinson, Connor Koharic, A.J. Davidson, all the seniors, including the manager who got some time at the end there, they really stepped it up tonight on a big emotional night for everybody involved here.
They'll re-rack everything, get ready for a possible Game 4 between Notre Dame and Wilson next week. Running down the scoring totals for Wilson, Graham Toohey, the Lehigh Valley Insulation leading scorer with 12 points, Chris Robinson with 3, Connor Kuhark with 2, Justin Berger with 2, Leo Davidson with 2, A.J. Davidson with 4. For Notre Dame, their leading scorer, Max Hughes with 9, Andrew Kohler with 6, 2 for Joe Giangiobi, and 3 for Nick Piazza. Final score, Wilson wins 32-23. They are 18-4 overall in the regular season, 15-3 in the East Division winners. Notre Dame falls to 18-4 overall. Their regular season record, 14-4. Don't forget, Colonial League basketball, the men's semifinal will be on Tuesday night. Live coverage on RCN, 6 o'clock and 7:30. Lehigh Valley Conference coming your way, 6, 7:30, and then Lafayette to follow on RCN4 on Wednesday night. That will do it for Dennis Lobb, our director, Chris Popick, and the RCN Sports crew. I'm Chris Michael. Good night, God bless, and thanks for tuning in to RCN4 Sports.